I never thought I'd be the girl telling a story like this. You know, the kind you scroll past on Reddit and think, that would never happen to me. Except it did. And it started the same way most love stories do. With a coffee shop, a crooked smile. And a lie so perfect I didn't even feel it sink in. My name's Emily. I'm 28. I live in Portland. I design eco-friendly packaging and I talk to my cat more than I should probably admit. I've always been skeptical about love. It felt inconvenient. Like a dress that never quite fit. Until I met Liam. He walked into my life like he belonged there. And I, stupidly, believed it. We met at a small bookstore cafe downtown. He was reading something by Bukowski, which should have been my first red flag. He had that tech guy who reads philosophy vibe, rolled sleeves, a beaten-up Moleskine in his back pocket, and eyes that made you want to confess secrets you didn't even know you had. We talked for 3 hours that first day. About everything. Books. Family. Our shared love of rainy days and vanilla lattes. When he left, he looked at me and said, "You feel familiar. I hope I see you again." Of course he did. Of course I let him in. 2 weeks later, we were inseparable. He never pushed. He always listened. And he made me feel seen. The kind of seen that wraps around your ribs like warmth. The kind that makes you forget all the other men who made you feel too loud, too quiet, too much. He moved in 6 months later. And that's when the first hairline fractures started to show. Very subtle. Very quiet. But once you notice a crack, you can't stop seeing the wall fall apart. It started small. He'd go out for late-night walks without his phone. Or so he said. He'd come back flushed, as if he'd been running, or hiding something. I brushed it off. He was just stressed, right? His startup was struggling. He said he needed air, time to think. And I gave him space. Because that's what good girlfriends do. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Then there were the texts. Not from other women, no. Liam was too smart for that. They were from numbers with no names. Just strings of numbers, strange times of day. I'd ask, "Everything okay?" And he'd smile, kiss my forehead, "Just work stuff. You know how it is." But I didn't. He never talked about work. Not really. It was always classified, client-sensitive, can't talk about it. I laughed it off to my best friend, Megan, saying, "Maybe he's Batman." She didn't laugh. She looked at me, eyes narrowed, and said, "Or maybe he's married." That thought hit me harder than I expected. Like something my brain didn't want to hear. Because my gut already knew it. I checked his drawer one night while he was out. It was full of burner phones. 3. All turned off. There was also a key. No label. Just a key. I didn't ask him about it. I wanted to. But something stopped me. Fear? Or maybe I wasn't ready to hear the answer. One night I woke up at 3:14 a.m. He wasn't in bed. Not in the kitchen. Not in the apartment. When he came back at 4:09, I was waiting in the hallway, arms crossed. He looked startled, like I'd caught him stealing. "I couldn't sleep," he said. "Went to clear my head." In socks? Without his phone? In 38-degree rain? I nodded. But that night, something broke in me. Not trust. Not yet. But the first piece of denial finally cracked loose and floated to the surface. 3 days later, I followed him. It felt stupid. Childish even. But when you start questioning your reality, you either spiral or start chasing the thread. So I chased it. He said he was meeting an old college friend. Said they were getting drinks near the riverfront. But I watched him leave from the coffee shop across the street. Waited 5 minutes. Then got in an Uber and followed him. He didn't go downtown. He didn't go to a bar. He went to a quiet neighborhood I'd never seen before. Tree-lined, upper middle class, exactly the kind of place people go when they want to disappear into a life they've built on lies. I watched him pull out a different set of keys. Not our apartment keys. And unlock the door to a brick townhouse like he'd done it 100 times. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just stared at that door and waited for something. Someone. To explain it all. 37 minutes later, he stepped out. Alone. With a gym bag. Locked the door behind him. Walked off like nothing happened. My heart was racing so loud, I didn't even hear my Uber driver ask if I was okay. I wasn't. I went home and waited. Pretended I was sick when he came back. Didn't ask. I needed time to think. To decide what I was really ready to know. Because deep down, I think I already knew the answer. That night, I tried the key I found in his drawer. It didn't fit any door in our building. Not the basement. Not the storage. Not even the mailbox units. But something told me it would fit that door. The brick townhouse. And that scared me more than anything. Because if that was true, then he wasn't just lying to me. He was living 2 lives. It took me 4 days to work up the nerve. 4 days of fake smiles, long showers where I sat on the floor crying, and quiet dinners filled with questions I didn't ask. On the 5th night, when Liam said he had a client dinner, I waited 30 minutes. Then left. Key in my pocket. Terror in my throat. The neighborhood was too quiet. Too perfect. The kind of place with motion lights and cameras. But no one ever actually watching. I walked to the door. Held the key in my hand. It felt heavier than it should have. My fingers were trembling as I slid it into the lock. It turned. It turned. The door creaked open into a hallway lined with framed photographs. But they weren't of Liam and me. No. These were of him and someone else. A woman. Smiling. In nearly every frame. Sometimes with a little boy, maybe 5 years old. In one photo, Liam Alex was holding the child on his shoulders at what looked like a birthday party. There were balloons. A banner that said Happy 6th, Mason. I stood there, frozen. The world went quiet. The kind of quiet that comes right before everything explodes. I didn't go further. Didn't need to. Everything I needed to know was already hanging on the walls. He didn't just lie to me. He had a family. A child. And yet every night, he came home to me, held me like I was his only world, and whispered things like, "You're the one I see my future with." The nausea came first. Then the anger. Then the grief. I walked out and locked the door behind me. And I ran. When I got home, I threw up. Cried for 20 minutes on the bathroom floor. Then wiped my face and stared at myself in the mirror like I was looking for an explanation. I didn't find one. So I waited. Waited for him to come home. Waited to confront him. Waited. But he never came back that night. Or the next. On the third day, he finally walked through the door. Calm. Like nothing happened. He dropped his bag by the door and said, "Hey, babe. Sorry I've been MIA. Work trip got messy." He kissed my cheek. I didn't move. Didn't flinch. Didn't say a word. Just looked at him. He paused. Studied me. His eyes weren't soft this time. They were calculating. "Everything okay?" I smiled. The kind of smile you make when your whole world is fake and you're playing along like it's a game you still have a shot at winning. "Yeah. Fine." And then I asked, "What's Mason's favorite color?" His face went completely still. Just frozen. For 2 seconds, maybe 3, he didn't breathe. Didn't blink. Then, he laughed. That same crooked, confident laugh that made me fall for him in the first place. "What are you talking about?" "Never mind," I said. I was dreaming. But we both knew I wasn't. That night, I checked his drawer again. The burner phones were gone. So was the key. So was his Moleskine notebook. Something inside me started screaming, "He knows. He knows I followed him. He knows I found out." And no. I was no longer just a girlfriend. I was a loose thread. And people like him? They don't leave loose threads hanging. I packed a bag the next morning. Just essentials. Laptop. Charger. Toothbrush. A hoodie I could disappear in. I left the apartment key on the table. Didn't write a note. Didn't need to. I didn't go to work. Didn't call anyone. I just left. Checked into a cheap motel 2 neighborhoods away under a fake name. Burned through a prepaid card I'd been saving for emergencies. And turned off my phone. All I wanted was to vanish. But monsters don't let you go just because you finally see them. That night, I got an email. Not from Liam. Not even from Alex. From an unknown address, subject line, "Emily, please don't run." The message was short. "I never meant to hurt you. I didn't choose this life. Please. One more chance to explain." Attached was a photo. It was me. Walking out of the brick townhouse. The timestamp was from 2 days ago. My skin went cold. He'd been watching me. Following me. Maybe even tracking me. I shut my laptop and cried into the motel pillow until my chest physically hurt. Then I did the thing I didn't want to do. I called Megan. Told her everything. She didn't gasp. Didn't interrupt. She just said, "Come to my place." No. Don't be alone. So I went. And for the first time in weeks, I locked a door behind me and felt almost safe. We went to the police the next morning. They listened. Took notes. Nodded a lot. But there was no real crime, they said. No physical threat. No stolen money. Just lies. Just heartbreak. And heartbreak isn't illegal. I filed a restraining order anyway. Changed my number. Deleted my email. Wiped every trace of him off my devices. But for weeks, I still looked over my shoulder. Jumped when I heard footsteps. Woke up thinking I saw his face in the shadows. Because when someone invades your life that deeply, you don't just get them out by walking away. Sometimes they linger. Like smoke. Or ghosts. It's been 6 months. I have a new apartment now. New locks. New job. New number. Even a new name on social media. No trace of the person I used to be. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and instinctively reach for a man who's no longer there. Not because I miss him, but because part of me still checks. Is he watching? Healing isn't linear. Some days, I feel strong. Other days, I catch myself wondering, was any of it real? The late night drives. The playlists he made for me. The way he always picked up when I was sick. Was that him? Or the mask? Therapy helps. Megan helps. Charlie, my dog, still curls up beside me when I cry, like he knows that silence is sometimes the only thing that holds you together. And slowly, I'm learning to breathe again. I don't date yet. Not seriously. But I look people in the eye now. I ask hard questions. I listen to how they answer. And how they don't. I don't ignore red flags anymore. Not even the pink ones. Some people say love is about trust. But I think real love starts with knowing yourself well enough not to fall for someone who only mirrors your wounds. If you're listening to this, and you've ever been lied to, gaslit, or made to feel like your instincts were too much, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You were just loved by someone who never intended to stay real. So tell me, have you ever trusted someone who turned out to be a complete stranger? Because I have. And I'm still learning how to live with that.